Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Devecioglu, your host. I am welcoming you episode 140 in the American Business Podcast. We are in season 5 in American Business Podcast and we are streaming live from New York. As you know, we have a great partnership with missionstatements.com, and here is the quote of the day. Whenever you see a successful business, someone once made a courageous decision. Great. I have a special guest in the American Business Podcast today, and I'd like to invite our guest to our virtual stage, and I'd like to get the conversation started. Hello, Neil. Welcome to the American Business Podcast.
Thank you. I love being here. Thank you very much.
Well, it's a pleasure. I'm glad you joined us. Last year, we had a great conversation together with you. It was very informative, and I'm excited to have you also again in the American Business Podcast. I hope you are well and surviving the cold weather in New York metro area.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of the snow, but we're making do. You know, I must have said that phrase about 20 times today already, how tired I am of the snow. But look, it's almost March, so we're coming out of it. So I'm happy about it.
Yes, almost there. Hang in there. We'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds
exactly
good.
Right.
Yes. Well, so let's get our conversation started. I've been waiting for this conversation because it's always very insightful to talk to you, and we all learn something new from any conversation that we'll have with you. First of all, how was last year for you and for Team EDI Options?
Last year was an interesting year, you know, because we had a pretty good business year. But, you know, like every company, last year was a year of transition. It was a year of looking at the new technology and thinking about how can I leverage this new technology for me, because I recognize, like many other businesses, that if we don't start getting engaged in AI and BI technologies, I know my competitors are doing it, so I'm going to be left in the dust. So we spent last year spending some time. We developed a business intelligence product that we're starting to introduce this year. And this year we're doing more and more investment in AI technology and BI technology. It happens to lend very well to my core business, which is EDI.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So just to educate us a little bit and for us to learn some more insights from you, can you share some of your insights about EDI technology and how it is actually helping organizations improve their processes and streamline their operational workflows, if that's okay?
Gladly, yeah. So EDI stands for Electronic Data Interchange, and it's basically a computer-to-computer, system-to-system exchange of common business documents, purchase orders, invoices, shipping notices. These days, all kinds of things, checks and payments, and all kinds of things flow across the EDI pipeline. The EDI is deeply ingrained in the supply chain. You know, I started my business in 1991. And in 1991, from the day I started my business, people were saying, EDI is a dying technology. It's an old technology. I'll tell you, that's not the case at all. I've been involved in it for many years now, 35 years. And, you know, I was involved in the early stages of EDI set. You know, EDI was originally set up in the automotive industry in the 70s. In the 80s, it started to be embraced by retail. And like I said, it is ingrained in the supply chain. Carriers, warehouses, retailers, vendors, 3PLs, everybody talks the same language. So, you know, like I said, in 1991, they were predicting that it was going to be dead, going to be replaced by XML or APIs. And, you know, the reason it hasn't is the same reason it's going to be around a long time. It's because the supply chain has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the EDI technology. And the fact of it is, you know, I was involved also with XML, planning the standards for XML exchange as opposed to EDI. And what it really came down to, and I think this is why it didn't take over, is because the technology was not the problem. The problem was the standards. The problem was item synchronization. What do I refer my items to? What do you refer my items as? UPC numbering, ship to synchronization. There is a number of business problems that were not solved with a different technology. And so all the time, the technology people said, oh, well, XML is going to replace EDI. All of that time, the business people in retail investing more and more in the technology. And what I found is that, over the years, the
Mhm.
retailers take the opportunity and they use the EDI technology to put more and more burden on the vendor. So what they do is they're transferring their costs from them to the vendor. The vendor has now new labeling requirements, packaging requirements. They do what they call drop shipping, which is packages destined for a particular singular destination, a store instead of a distribution center, gets dropped at the distribution center and routes right to the store. So the retailers have come up with all of these very interesting and clever ways to put that expense and burden off on the vendor while they get more and more efficient in their operations.
And just for our audience to also understand your contribution to the operations. So where EDA options come to stage and help retailers and organizations utilize the technology.
Oh, I appreciate that. EDI technology is, by its own definition, it's a standard. And basically, all EDI companies, and there's several of us out there, they perform the same core functionality: data exchange, data translation. EDI has a standard, but it's a kind of a loose standard that everybody implements a little bit differently. Macy's does a little different from Kohl's. They do a little different from JCPenney. So what we do is we kind of normalize all of that. We standardize the transactional information that flows to the vendor, and we insert it into their accounting, warehousing, and fulfillment systems. So we act as a clearinghouse, so to speak, or as a neutral ground where, so I have customers that have 100 retail partners. So what we do is we run a globally connected network. We connect to all of the retail partners and we collect up all of the information that's required, all the transactions that are required for our partners, for our customers, inbound. And when outbound, when a customer sends invoicing and shipping documents, we take that information in one standard format and then we convert it for all of the different retailers. So even though every retailer's got their own way of doing things, what we do is we standardize that information so the customer can utilize it effectively. And so every time they bring on a new retail partner, it's not starting over from scratch. We build a pipeline of normalized data. We collect it, we insert it into their fulfillment systems. They send us response documents that we send out. So what we do for the vendor is we take care of the various formatting that needs to be done. Every partnership has its own unique formatting, and we do that connectivity for them. If a customer has 100 retail partners, well, they spend all day connecting up to 100 partners and trading their documents. And on the retail side, they have thousands of vendors. They don't want to do that either. So companies like me sit in the middle. We act as mailboxes, storing forward mailboxes and different clearinghouses for the data. And we not only create the communication and transport that data, but we also format it appropriately for customer systems, for vendor systems.
Yes, that's great to understand how you actually share your actually put your expertise into action in the business process. And well, how about the EDI technology and AI interacting nowadays?
Well, it is AI and EDI go really beautifully together. And the reason that is because EDI runs on rules and standards. And there are rules and standards on both sides of that relationship that I just described. So, for example, a retailer is going to send purchase order information, and the Macy's purchase order is going to adhere strictly to Macy's rules, and the JCPenney and the Kohl's, they're going to adhere strictly to their rules. Those rules are very well defined, and they fall inside of the global EDI standard. So what happens is that AI and BI, business intelligence, we can easily interrogate that information that is running across our network, and we can extract from it valuable information. Similarly, on the other side, on my customer side, on the vendor side, they also have rules. They have their own rules for integration. They have rules for their warehousing systems, their fulfillment systems. So AI is this can be this environment that sits on top of the EDI, the traditional EDI, 50-year-old EDI environment, and revitalize it. EDI is really being revitalized now. Estimates EDI providers like me are going to book something to the tune of $42 billion in 2026. So this is a technology that's deeply ingrained in the supply chain. And it's my belief that AI and BI technology can absolutely revolutionize what we do with this, because in our world, we spend a lot of time interpreting standards, making the standards fit into the customer standard. I believe that AI, and this is what we're working toward, is to have it relieve us of some of those analyses that we have to do. We've gotten, we started using AI to interrogate EDI specifications. So what happens? Every retailer or any partner that trades in EDI, they have a rule book, a specification book. And we've gotten to a point where now we can feed a specification book for a purchase order to AI, and AI can interrogate it and give us back to us our standard mapping definitions that we do for these kinds of transactions. What it's going to do for us, I believe, it takes a lot of the subjectivity out of this kind of analysis. So, for example, I might have one rep who's reading a standard and interprets a PO date one way, and I may have a different rep that interprets it a different way. And we take all of that interpretation out of it, and we put the intelligence into AI. We let it do the interpretation, and then we pick up that transaction, we pick up that activity one step further down the line. Same is true for business intelligence. We have interrogated just the core content of EDI transactions, and we've put it into a beautiful BI interface that allows customers to see what's flowing back and forth into their business and out of their business. How many shipments are done, how many days it takes to ship, what the average value is, if they're late, if they're on time. Something that in my world, retailers have something they call compliance reports, and what they attach to that is something called chargebacks. That anybody who does EDI is unfortunately very familiar with chargebacks. So anytime that you break a rule, nightmare. It's a nightmare. I've had, what happens is if something is incorrect in the transmission or in the physical packaging of the materials, they'll charge you per box, $5 a box, $10, $50 a box. I've had customers that have been levied $11, $12, $15,000 in charges for a shipment. Look, that wipes out their profit. That wipes out their profit. So what that does is it makes it all the more important for the vendor to be compliant. And that's one of the things, one of the problems that I have in my world is that we have hundreds of customers, thousands of transactions flow across my network every day. No human can monitor what's going on and can determine. What's funny, what sometimes happens is a customer will get a notification from a retailer that says, oh, you failed to invoice this particular transaction. And they'll say to me, well, how come you didn't notice that I didn't invoice this? Like, I can't possibly notice that because of the huge volume of data that runs across the network. It's not humanly possible, but AI can do that. So what we can also do, in addition to utilizing AI in the setup of activity, in the setup of transaction, the setup of our exchanges, also in the analysis of the exchanges, we can also use it to monitor the activity. We can let it say, hey, this particular customer, all of a sudden this month is ordering less than they ordered last month. Or we can do predictive analytics. We can say, well, last holiday season, this particular customer ordered this kind of merchandise and these kinds of volumes, and we can predict what they may order in the coming year. So because of the nature of EDI, and look, I'm a firm believer in standards. From the day I started my business, we do everything in a standard way. We have standard transactional databases, standard, because we're working inside of a standard. I want to leverage that standard for everything it's worth. And something that I found through the years is there's an enormous benefit to having things being standardized, because there's at least a loose set of rules that everybody needs to follow. And knowing that everybody, Kevin, it's the old 80-20 rule. All right. Using purchase orders as an example. 80% of every purchase order is exactly the same as every other purchase order. You got PO dates and cancel dates, items and quantities, prices. Every PO has those things. It's the 20 that gets to be a little bit challenging. Every retailer's got these little quirks that they do, things that fulfill obligations with inside of their own systems. They might send an internal department number, a merchandise code that they need to get back, even though the vendor has no use for that information. But what it does is by setting these standards, the vendors set this rule set that then we can leverage for the customer. And again, we've done it for years, following standards, doing it manually. And what this really allows us to supercharge the services that we provide, and to be able to not only provide a better service to our customer, but also make our internal processes more efficient. Look, that's something every business needs to do, always needs to do. But by utilizing AI, one of the things that I just did as a little side note is we have a meeting every week, a 1-hour meeting every week with my top staff. And what we've done is we have everybody submit their notes to AI, and AI gives a summarized report of the meeting and allows us to turn what's an hour meeting into a 20-minute meeting. And, right off the bat, I'm very conscious of ways that the new technologies can allow me to be a better service provider, and allows me to be a more efficient operation. EDI, it has 4 characteristics that make it very applicable to AI. It is structured, it is reliable, it is relevant, and it is applicable to decision making. And these are 4 elements that are critical for data to be in order to leverage it for these technologies. EDI is perfect, but its very nature, it's structured. It is built on structured definitions. It is a global standard that everybody in the supply chain adheres to. It's reliable. You get it every single day. You have to get it every day, because that's where your business comes from. That's where business flows, orders flow into your business, and shipments and invoices flow out. It's reliable. It is the key method that people use. Believe me, I know from experience that if a customer's systems are non-functional for a couple of hours, I am hearing from them, because they need EDI data. Is extremely relevant and extremely reliable. And of course, it's relevant to their decision making, because it reflects what's being ordered, who's ordering it. It really reflects the demand in your operation. I have customers that they have 90+% of their business activity flows through EDI, and that gives me access to all of the information that's coming and going. Now, what I've done as a general rule is we try to make everything work based on what we have in the EDI transaction. So one of the things that we've discovered is that EDI, like I said, the old 80-20 rule, 80% of what we're getting in EDI is totally usable to us. So, like, for example, we'll always get an item number, but we may not always get an item description. So what we found is that if a customer can enhance the data a little bit with a catalog, then we have an ability to enrich that data even more for them. But the foundation of the EDI, the flow of EDI activity, the necessity of it, the fact that it's an everyday activity and businesses rely on it as a priority activity, that gives me the perfect opportunity for me to leverage that and to give them more value in that information.
Okay, well, in terms of the implementation of EDI technology, are there certain industries that's applicable? So I heard retail. Is there any other industries that can utilize EDI technology? Maybe you can share some insights with us.
Oh, I'm really glad you brought that up because I did want to mention that EDI started in automotive. Automotive back in the 1970s. It got picked up by retail in the 80s. Now it's used by healthcare. It's used. I mean, it's extensively used in healthcare now. It's excused. Excuse me. It's used in manufacturers, wholesalers, uh, carriers, if you're a shipper or you're a freight consolidator, uh, you're using these kinds of activities. Me, I happen to be a retail specialist. Most of my business is in retail. Aerospace, it's another one. Aerospace is a early adopter. Any industry that requires an exchange of structured information, timely information. And that's really where I'd say in the 80s when the retailers adopted EDI, that was their key value point, was their just-in-time inventory. The fact that they don't have to keep goods in a warehouse anymore. Uh,
Mm,
and,
true.
and what did that turn into? As I had described earlier, that turned into a new burden on the vendor, that when they used to be able to take a week or 10 days to fulfill an order, 3 days now. If it's a direct to customer order, it's 2 days. So and what that the burden that puts on the vendor is they have to manufacture goods, have goods in stock to be able to
Mhm.
fulfill. And as a result, they need good projections from the retailer as to what's going to be purchased well in advance, because it takes them 9, 12, 15 weeks to manufacture the goods, that they have to perform the manufacturing, ship the goods here because everybody's manufacturing overseas these days. They ship the goods here, keep it in stock here for the retailer, ready for when the retailer orders. The retailer doesn't want to keep stock anymore. Remember the
Times are
old days.
changing. Yes.
Oh my God, you remember the old days? You go to the store and say, you don't have this in a size 10. Do you have it in the back? There is no in the back anymore. There's no
Yes.
inventory. The stores hold no inventory anymore because it's expensive to hold inventory. And what happens at the end of the year, at the end of the season, I should say, retailers are stuck with unsold inventory. Right? If they use the just-in-time model, they basically will keep a handful of stock on hand per store, and then they'll get replenished. They'll run replenishment orders every week, and they'll restock the shelves for things that fall, below a certain reorder point. So, I've seen quite a few different variations of retailers utilizing that technique. I have one of my customers is one of the world's biggest cell phone accessory providers, and they have cell phone accessories in $12,900 general stores around the country. And every single day, we collect selling data from all of those stores. We analyze that selling data. We keep a perpetual inventory on hand for every of the 12,000 stores. So you got 12,000 stores, 350 items in the stores. We maintain perpetual inventory across all those stores and items. Weekly, we run reordering algorithms that go through, deduct what was sold, analyze what's on hand, generates new orders within parameters, the customer's value and geographical parameters by which the orders are generated. But this is something that would not be possible without EDI technology, because I get that selling report every day from EDI. I send them all of the details of what's being shipped and where it's being dropped and what store is getting what item. That's impossible to do without an EDI environment. And what's happening is more and more now with the latest technologies, Kevin, it's astounding what can be done and what I believe will be done in the next couple of years. I think the world of EDI is going to completely revolutionize in the next couple of years. And as someone who's been engaged in it for 35 years, I've seen all of the ups and downs. I've seen all the problems.
Mhm.
And I can see very clearly how the latest technology is going to make a big difference for the EDI world. No question about it.
Yeah, this is a really informative conversation. Is there any other insight that you'd like to share with us about EDI technology as well as EDI option services?
Well, I would say, let me just check one second. Okay. So right now in the marketplace, uh, EDI is just used universally in retail. It's used everywhere, and but it's not really embraced by the online marketplaces. Shopify, Amazon has two worlds. Amazon has a vendor world where they buy goods, and they have a seller world where you sell your goods.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, there are, look, I'm in the business of integrating with every environment out there. So I've integrated with all of eBay and Shopify and customers, custom websites that we integrate with. And what happens is that they're not really embracing the EDI technology. So, and I understand why, because EDI technology, it's I don't want to say complicated, but the standards are rather elaborate. And what happens is that in the marketplace, they really boil it down to very simple content. These are the items, these are the quantities, here's the price, here's where I want you to ship it, it's the carrier to use, it's the service to use, do it. Very simplified. Where in an EDI purchase order document, I might get 35 to 50 data elements. In a marketplace purchase order document, maybe I get 6 data elements. It's not a lot, maybe 10, but it's not a lot at all. It's greatly simplified. So what it does, it allows us to use all the algorithms that we use for the very complex EDI handling. After all, we're processing the same exact information, but it allows us to use the same algorithms to assimilate the marketplace data right along with the EDI data. The part of the reason I think, EDI is not real time. It is a store and forward technology. Now, I have, for example, Macy's has a distribution center right here across the river in Secaucus. I have a ton of customers that ship to Secaucus. Now, that journey from New York City to Secaucus takes about 20 minutes. Um, so Macy's can't pick up their receiving documents for shipments once a day because there will be many, many documents that get sent and the goods arrive in the exact same day. So what they do is they simply have a 30-minute timetable that they pick up every 30 minutes, every 30 minutes. So they turn it into a kind of a near real-time environment. APIs, they're real time. All right. So I have customers that work in online marketplaces that they utilize an API, which is perfectly fine for us to integrate with. But what happens is we're kind of laying the EDI model on top of that API. I mean, my servers on my network, I have no trouble issuing those API calls and performing those transactions. But what happens is that data that gets further into the EDI pipeline, and the customer will get those orders the next time they retrieve orders from me. So it's not that real time kind of a scenario. But I mean, customers, they don't need it. Yes, in the holiday season, in Christmas season, I got customers that ship 10, 15, 20,000 packages a day. They're picking up orders very frequently. They're picking up their orders hourly, half hourly, because they have a constant flow of transactions coming. During the rest of the year, I mean, I like to I'm a big baseball fan, and I like to look at the retail year, the calendar year is kind of the baseball season. That from January through September is the
Yes.
regular season. From Labor Day through Christmas is the postseason. That is
Yes.
when all the rules are different. Everything is volumes go way up. Retailers get very, very testy. And let me tell
Mhm.
you something. You want your goods on the shelf. You want your goods to be in the stores during the holiday season. And as a result, you want to be fully compliant with everything because you want your goods to flow through. Now, if you've been to a modern distribution center, Macy's a customer of mine. I've been to their DC over in Secaucus many times. And what happens is that there are very few people that work in a modern distribution center because
Mhm.
everything's fully automated. Right. Part of the
True.
EDI documents that we send, shipping documents, the shipping document contains a code in it. That code is printed on a barcode that's put on the box. So when that box comes off the truck and it gets scanned, it knows exactly how to route it. These modern systems, nobody touches these boxes between the time it comes off the truck and between the time it winds up in the store being delivered. And what happens is that if that data is incomplete, the barcode is not readable, there's something sticky happening, those things come right off the belt and they go on the floor, and your goods are not getting to the stores. And you can't sell your good if it's not on the shelf. So this is why, it's a technology that has a lot of rules, but the vendors are fully incentivized to follow those rules, because if they follow the rules properly, their products are properly promoted, their products are properly distributed, their products are available to people to buy on the shelf. And that's extremely, extremely important. And I recognize that. I came from the manufacturing world. Before I started EDI Options in 1991, I was an IT director for one of the largest manufacturers of fine jewelry in the world. And that's where I got exposed to this technology. I got exposed to the efficiencies of it. I got exposed to the intricacies of it. And I learned really, really well. I remember very well, very early on, maybe 1984, 1985, I'm sitting in my office at the jewelry manufacturer, and the CEO of the company, who never, ever, ever came to my office because he wanted to see what's with this EDI. He says, I'm looking at this like a slot machine. I hope it's going to spit out all kind, and that was 40 years ago. But I remember it like it was yesterday because he was so motivated by
What an experience.
technology.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It also shows the importance of technology at that time as well. I mean, he actually comes to you as a subject matter expert and tries to learn from you. It also shows the importance of the technology.
Exactly. And those
operation
days
as well.
Sears was the early adopter. They're gone now, but Sears was the early adopter in those days. And I remember going to seminars. In those days, there were no webinars, right? So I was going to seminars, learning about technology, understanding it. After about 5 years of being involved in it, I thought, oh, yeah, this is really serious technology. This is going to be something that people are going to need, help with. And I took the risk. 1991, I left my job, started this company. 35 years later, I'm really happy I did. It really made a big difference. And I love my business because I get involved in all kinds of different product lines. I have, like I said, cell phone accessories, barbecue parts. I have tons of jewelry because I'm from that industry and I know a lot of people in that industry. So I have tons of jewelry wholesalers as customers. But anybody, if you're selling in the retail world, everybody requires me or someone like me to help them get connected.
Yes, this has been a really great episode with you, Neil. Very insightful and informative. We learned a lot about EDI technology overall and the importance of it for different industries, not only retail, but other industries as well. So I truly appreciate it. So for those who like to be in touch with you, learn more about your company and your services, what is the best way to be in touch with you? We have the website on the screen. Any other avenue that they can take to be in touch with you?
Well, you can always email me. I'm the CEO of the company here, but I pick up my own phone. I answer all my own emails. And so it's Neil, Neil, at edioptions.com. Very simple. So anybody can reach out to me. I love to talk, as you can tell. So you just want to talk, I'm more than happy to talk to people. You have a question, even if you're using a different EDI provider, but you have some questions about EDI, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody anytime. And look, I'm doing this a long, long time. I have 40 plus years of experience with EDI. I've worked in all kinds of industries, and I consider myself a serious expert on the subject matter. So please, anytime, I'd be more than happy to hear from anybody anytime.
Neil, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule, and thank you for sharing your professional insights and your wisdom with us in the American Business Podcast.
As always, Kevin, it's an absolute pleasure. I love talking to you. I love being a guest on your podcast, and I look forward to doing it again.
Thank you very much, Neil. Appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing you again soon in the American Business Podcast. Thank you. And to our audience and to our listeners, thank you very much for watching and listening to the American Business Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was very informative, and we'll continue this conversation, and we'll be right back after a short break. Thank you very much. Would you like to listen to music during your work time? We are here to help. We created ABP Office Music Pod, powered by the American Business Podcast. We created it for you, the working professional. In ABP Office Music Pod, you can listen to jazz, lo-fi, smooth jazz, classic music, and more. You can stay energetic and positive with the music coming from ABP Office Music Pod, powered by the American Business Podcast. Join us, scan this QR code, and enjoy the music, office music, during your work time. As I said, it is for you, the working professional. And ABP Office Music Pod is right in the American Business Podcast, and it is part of the American Business Podcast in the same YouTube channel. There is more coming in the American Business Podcast, and this is one of them. Thank you very much for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Reddit. Do you know the biggest challenge nowadays for American small businesses? That is visibility. That's why we partner with Reddit for Business. Reddit has more than 400 million weekly visitors. Furthermore, Reddit is reliable. Reddit is the number one source for real reviews on products, services, and brands. There is a promotion going on. When you spend $500, you'll get $500 in ad credit from Reddit. True story. I am a Reddit user. Anytime I need feedback or review for a product or service, I go to Reddit. I get the real answers, real feedback from real people, from Reddit communities. Scan this QR code and sign up for Reddit advertising for your business. Get the visibility for your company, your products and services. Scan the QR code and sign up today. Thank you for your support. Support for the show comes from Yelp. You know, I've been talking to more than 100 business owners in the American Business Podcast. Do you know the biggest problem for small businesses nowadays? It is visibility. That is why you should sign up and list your business on Yelp for Business. I have the QR code on the screen, and when you scan the QR code, the form will show up on your screen and you can sign up on the registration form. It comes with free trial with no obligation. Make it easy for your customers to find you. Do you know there are more than 70 million customers visiting Yelp website looking for services from businesses just like yours? Restaurants, home services, professional services, and many other businesses are being searched on Yelp on daily basis. That's a great opportunity. If you list your business on Yelp, you'll be findable, searchable, and you'll be visible. When you are visible, when your customers are able to find you, you're in business. You can get opportunities, you can get leads, you can build a healthy and profitable pipeline. Consider Yelp for Business. Scan the QR code, sign up, and start your free trial. It comes with free trial. Very comfortable, no obligation. List your business and start getting the results and enjoy the benefits of Yelp Business. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Abbruzzese Virtual Offices. Abbruzzese is offering you more than 600 different locations in the US. It is $99 a month. This includes prestigious business address, professional live call answering, personalized call transferring, business phone number, local phone number, professional mail services, voicemail converted to email. I have the QR code on the screen. You can sign up for Abbruzzese today. Abbruzzese is offering you hundreds of locations in the US that you can pick, any of them that you like, and you can start having your virtual office today. Please scan the QR code and start using Abbruzzese Virtual Offices today. Thank you for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from DocuSign. If you are signing vendor contracts and customer contracts very often, just like I do on daily basis, consider DocuSign. DocuSign is the latest modern digital and electronic signature software system. Furthermore, you can manage your vendor contracts, customer contracts, NDAs, and any other commercial contracts on DocuSign digitally with no need of local installation and no need of keeping your documents on your laptop or your mobile device. Furthermore, with the latest technology of DocuSign, it has intelligent agreement management. It recognizes your repeated documents and creates contracts automatically and makes things easier for you. Do you know how many users are there for the DocuSign system? More than 1 billion users. There are many companies using DocuSign and trust DocuSign for electronic and digital signature. True story. I also use DocuSign on daily basis and it works smoothly. Highly recommended. You see the QR code on the screen. When you scan the QR code, you fill up the form to start your free trial and join the DocuSign user community. Enjoy your DocuSign experience, and I hope you sign up today. I have the QR code on the screen. Thank you very much, and enjoy the experience. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Invicta Watches. Invicta Watches are known for their stylish design for men, women, as well as for unisex watches. When you scan the QR code on the screen, it will take to their online store and you can start shopping right away. When you go to the Invicta store website, you'll see watches in different collections for men, for women, different colors, different designs, as well as different sizes. There are hundreds of watches that you can see and you can pick from. Because it's end of the year, you'll also enjoy the benefits of their end of the year promotions and discounts. True story, I'm an Invicta fan. I've been using Invicta for many years. I have more than 10 Invicta watches in my wardrobe. This is one of them that I like. The style is pretty cool. I use these pretty much weekly basis. I have another one that I use on my wrist. This one is pretty cool. This one is called Shutter. I can change the face just by turning the buttons, and I can have different style of watches pretty much every day. Because it's pretty business looking, I can actually wear this with my business outfit as well. Please scan the QR code and start shopping today. I'm sure you'll like Invicta watches. They have great styles and different colors as well as different technologies such as quartz, mechanical, automatic, and other watches are also available for your liking and for your choice. Please scan the QR code and start shopping today. Thank you very much for your support. Support for the American Business Podcast comes from Anywhere Apps by Kirk Consulting, now Cherry Baker. It is time to digitize and automate your business processes. Anywhere Apps designed for small and mid-sized companies as well as enterprise-level companies to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Today, I'd like to talk about one of the Anywhere apps that's very popular in the US. It is called Nonprofit Management Anywhere. If you are a nonprofit and you like to manage your donations, volunteers, fundraising events, your grants, and other documents for compliance and operational purposes, consider Nonprofit Management Anywhere. It is a completely cloud service. You can start using it today with no need for local installation on your server or on your local laptop and computers. It is user-friendly and it's easy to deploy, and you can start using it today. I have the QR code on the screen. You can scan the QR code and you can learn more about Anywhere apps, including Nonprofit Management Anywhere. Well, there is more. If you'd like to talk to me directly about Anywhere apps, you can just send me an email directly, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Anywhere apps are modern, they are easy to use, they are affordable, practical, and more importantly, that's designed for you to help you digitize and automate your business processes. Scan the QR code or just send me a direct email, kevin@kirkconsulting.com. Thank you for your support. It is time to sign up for the online monthly networking event, networking and podcasting together. It is called Connection America Business Alliance, partnered and powered by the American Business Podcast. During these unique business networking event, you'll be able to meet with other business professionals. At the same time, you will be in the American Business Podcast in front of thousands of business-minded YouTube subscribers, viewers, and listeners of the American Business Podcast, the voice of American business. Connection America online monthly networking events are interactive. You'll be able to meet with other seasoned business professionals, and at the same time, you'll be able to interact with viewers and audience. That's a unique event. It is because it's podcasting plus networking. If you are in business, you should be networking. And if you're not networking, you are losing business every single day. That is why we created online monthly networking event called Connection America Business Alliance, CABA in short. Scan this QR code and sign up today. When you scan the QR code, you'll see the list of coming monthly online networking events. Pick the one that works for you and sign up. We have limited seating, and today is the great day to sign up for online business networking event. Networking plus podcasting. That is a unique online business networking opportunity. You can introduce yourself, your products and services, and you'll be able to network with other business professionals live on the American Business Podcast. Scan the QR code and sign up today. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being with me in the American Business Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, please send us an email, guestbooking@americanpodcast.tv. If you'd like to sponsor ABP, if you'd like to advertise in our podcast episodes, please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can advertise your company, your products, your services, and your brands in the American Business Podcast. Please send us an email, growyourbusiness@americanpodcast.tv. You can also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv, to learn more about the American Business Podcast as well as our coming streaming schedule. Now you can have your branded company podcast within the American Business Podcast network. We call it Business Podcasting as a Service, PaaS. If you're interested in starting your business podcast in the American Business Podcast Network, please send us an email, paas@americanpodcast.tv. As part of our international expansion, we started international podcast editions. When you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube page. And please go to the podcast section in our YouTube page and you'll see our international podcast editions. They are ABP Espanol, ABP German, ABP French, ABP Hindi, ABP Portuguese, and ABP Turk, that you can listen to American Business Podcast in 6 different foreign languages. Okay, well, we are in the process of increasing our presence in social media. If you're on LinkedIn, please scan this QR code and subscribe, follow us on LinkedIn. If you're on TikTok, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our TikTok page. Please subscribe. Please follow us. If you are on Instagram, please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Instagram page and please subscribe. If you are on Facebook, we'll also appreciate your help and support. Please scan this QR code. It'll take you to our Facebook page and please follow us. And finally, we are on IMDb next to other reputable media productions. Please scan this QR code, go to our IMDb page, and please rate us on IMDb. We'll truly appreciate your help and support. I'd like to thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. I'm looking forward to seeing you in coming the American Business Podcast episodes. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. The American Business Podcast, America's fastest growing educational business podcast network in this age of AI. Thank you very much for your help and looking forward to seeing you. Thank you.